There have been so many allegations when it comes to the biasness of the court and the media when it comes to reporting information about our former president of South Africa. Yes, we know President Ramaphosa is always protected by the media, is always protected by the judiciary, is always protected by the court. For whatever reasons, we don't know why. But it seems like when it comes to people who the establishment doesn't like, people who defy the establishment, they don't get any protection. In fact, they get to be promoted with propaganda as these negative villains in our society. So today, shout out to Kim Heller. Yes, shout out to Kim Heller for exposing the fact that the media is just used as a propaganda machine to mislead people about President Jacob Zuma. So I have a clip of her protecting President Jacob Zuma. There is a clip of Kim Heller protecting Jacob Zuma.
They're complicit in pushing white power and making black politics the politics of distraction. So they are not an agent of telling the truth. It's a great shame that journalism in this country is just mere propaganda. But shame on the public for accepting so readily and without any critical discourse what is fed to us day in and day out. I mean, it's a narrative that has turned the former President Jacob Zuma into a villain. Is he a villain? Why, after 15 years, has there been no hard evidence of any wrongdoing? But it's a storyline.
And who was his deputy through the 9 wasted years? President Ramaphosa was the head of government business when, we hear at Zondo that the state-owned enterprises were captured and billions went missing. Where was the head of government business? He was sitting there as board chair of Glencore, as deputy president of the country, as chief of the deployment committee of the ANC. And now the president sits in some ivory tower and he says, I'm here to clean that country. Should the ANC and the NEC, for that matter, be inward looking to say, hey man, you were there?
Yes, but I mean, he's being protected by all means, and such is the force of white power. I think that black politicians are playing a silly game at the moment. They're so worried about the crumbs. For instance, let's take Tegeta. Brian Molefe clearly spoke about Tegeta only having 4% of the contracts at Eskom. Yet black people and black politicians are very focused about the 4%. They go after the crumbs. And what we see within that space is almost a black-on-black violence. We're fighting for these crumbs here and there. And, I want to say something very controversial. Perhaps if black people are just fighting for the crumbs, perhaps that's all they deserve. Because they're ignoring the 96% that is controlled by whites. And we must bear in mind that Cyril Ramaphosa is representing white interests, white power.
You just heard Kim Heller speak and outline the fact that the media is so biased when it comes to reporting news about Jacob Zuma and news about President Ramaphosa. And one thing I like about her is that she also outlined the fact that the people who consume the media, the society, the receivers like us, the people, the black people or white people who consume this media, they are also to blame, because why are you believing everything the media says? She also outlines that the people who receive this propaganda and believe it are also a problem in our society, because they don't want to be critical thinkers and actually break things down for themselves and understand based on their own understanding. They want to take conclusions based on a media report without any investigations or research from their side. So I like that she says that. But I also like the fact that she outlined that the media is biased and the media hates people who speak against the media, people who defy the establishment. The media will only protect people who... But at least people are starting to wake up. They're not buying this propaganda. Majority of us, we are not buying it. So imagine me as a young man if I'm not buying it. How many other people out there don't have faith in the media anymore? So at least people are being conscientized. But the ones who believe this media, this propaganda, are also a problem in our society. And I will always say this until you get conscientized and come to this side and actually see life from a different point of view. Thank you very much.